Welcome back to another episode at the Evolving the Single Parent Nation podcast. I'm your host, Priscilla Morgan, and today I'm super excited for today's episode because today we'll be talking to two guests, Megan and Casey from Marriage 365. So if you've ever strolled around Instagram looking for real honest marriage advice or relationship advice, you've probably came across Megan and Casey from 365. They keep it real, and today they'll be sharing what it takes to create a thriving relationship and how they're helping couples all around the world to do the same. Welcome, Casey and Megan from Marriage 365. How are you?
We're good. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks, Priscilla.
Good, amazing. So, Marriage 365 isn't just a business, it's a movement. What's the story behind it? What was that rock bottom moment that led to its creation?
Great question. You want to go?
Oh, you go for it.
Okay. Really, it was the breakdown of our own marriage, honestly, that was what created Marriage 365. So Casey and I, we say we met and we fell in love. It took 2 years to get married. It took about 3 years to destroy our marriage. Within 3 years,
Yeah.
we had grown so much resentment towards one another, so much hatred. We didn't have any conflict resolution, no communication skills. And so we were really facing divorce.
And worse was that we believed some of the modern myths about love, which is love is all you need, right? Like, dating was super easy. Why would marriage be hard? There's so much unprocessed childhood baggage. I know it's kind of cliche, but it is so true that there was stuff that was happening in my childhood I never really dealt with, and it all came out when I
We
was
got married.
when I was forced to live with this person. And
Yeah.
like, I think it's easy when we are single, we can kind of be messy and we can put on the show for other people, for a day or two even, like,
Yeah.
but once you're forced to
Live with someone and
block and
parent.
tackle,
Yeah.
do schedules, I have to be financially accountable, like that becomes where all these things that I had, these insecurities about myself, came raging out. And
Yeah.
it came out when screaming and yelling matches, in misunderstanding, and in this resentment that we had towards each other, that every conversation we walked into immediately like went from 0 to 100 really
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. So then, I mean, it's a longer story, but we were able to repair our marriage, which took about 4 to 5 years. And as we were repairing our marriage, we couldn't afford therapy. We had some bad experiences with therapists. And it kind of seemed like that was the only thing that was available. Now, this was obviously, we're old. So this was pre social media, pre podcasts, right? There wasn't, YouTube, I feel like was just becoming a thing. But I think that there weren't many resources. And so again, you asked, like, it's a movement. How did this start? From our own pain and our own story, we knew that we couldn't be the only ones out there that also were struggling and needed help. And so that we created really Marriage 365 for ourselves. Like we need these tools and resources. And then of course the hope would be that they would help other people, and now they have.
Yes, amazing, amazing story. So if we were sitting here 10 years ago, what kind of relationship advice would you give back then? And how has your perspective changed?
Oh man, I have so much to say about that. Do you want me to go first or no?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel
Oh,
like what we started with was this idea, this quote that we got, and that was, if you wanted to make a better marriage, it started by making a better you. And
Mm-hmm.
when I first heard that, I was puzzled by it, because I'm like, what are you talking about? And I would have said the same. I say the same thing now.
okay.
I don't think anything's changed, but what's really been uncovered by that statement is it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks to hear that. It's true. But if you
Mm-hmm.
want to make a better marriage, it starts by making a better you. And I think so many marriage resources are made for couples to work on their marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But that's never really the case. It's usually one person that
Mm.
stands up and says, hey, we should get help. We should learn how to communicate, deal with our anger and
Mm.
our unforgiveness. And that when that person kind of pokes their head up and like wakes up to the reality of their relationship, it's they kind of like, it's easier to just say, well, my partner won't join me, so I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want to make a better marriage, it starts by making a better you. Well, that's empowering because I actually, even if my partner doesn't join, I can work on myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the advice that I would have given
Curious about that.
10 years ago has changed. I think for me in the last 10 years, the lesson that I've learned myself in life, in relationships, with parenting, is to learn to let go of the things that you can't control, which is kind of back on what you said about marriage. But I think even in general, I think personally, COVID did a number on me where there was a
Mhm.
lot out of my control
Mm.
and it broke me, but it broke me for the good. And I learned that there was a lot of things that I've been trying to control, including him, including my children,
Yes.
and I've noticed this, like, I feel more free. I have more peace in my life. So 10 years ago, I wish I could have gone back to that Megan and said, you need to learn to let go as soon as possible. I mean, I know that it's the journey we go on, but yeah, let go. Like, let go and be okay that things aren't the way that you expected them to be.
Amazing, amazing. So I know it goes back to what I think it's Brian Tracy or Jim Rohn says, when you change, things change.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. Yeah. What's one painful truth about relationships that people struggle to accept but
Oh,
need to hear?
yeah, I'm going to go first on this one.
Okay.
One painful truth that I have lived in my own marriage, and I have seen it with every couple I've coached and mentored and worked with, is that there are going to be times when you just have to agree to disagree, and you are not going to be aligned, and it's going to be okay. It's going to hurt. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be like, why are you doing it this way? Or why don't you see my perspective? There are times when I try so hard, Priscilla, to understand why Casey responds the way he does. I'm never going to fully understand why certain things matter to him and other things don't because he's not like me. So
Right.
agree to disagree is normal and it's healthy and it's part of all relationships, not just marriage. That's going to be mine.
The painful truth that I think what I see most people struggle with, and including myself, is it sucks to go first. Like someone has to make a move, right? When you're repairing your relationship, someone has to make a move. And I think it feels unfair that your partner's not working on the relationship, but you are. That feels unfair. And that can be a place where people begin to harbor resentment.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole point is, as I begin to work on myself, I actually have a direct influence positively on my partner.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks that you have to go first because you would
Mhm.
hope that like, let's do this together. Like that we got married together to live together and to do life together. But a lot of times people start healing their journey or they're healing their marriage by themselves.
Yeah.
And that's
Mhm.
kind of like, it just feels very,
It's a bummer. It's
yeah.
lonely.
It's
Yeah.
lonely.
Yeah.
That's right. 100%.
Yeah. Amazing. When it comes to co-parenting and raising emotionally healthy kids, divorce isn't just an event, right? It's more like an identity shift. What's the biggest mistake when it comes to parenting parents make when navigating through co-parenting that you
Well,
think?
yeah. I mean, we were both raised in divorced homes, right? There's 12 marriages between both sets of our parents.
So,
Casey's mom's been married 6 times.
6 times.
My dad's
Wow.
been married 3 times. Yeah. So we know this familiar on the funding enough on the child side of it, right? I think
Mhm.
a big mistake that I saw in my own parents, and I think it's really impacted the way that I parent our now two teenagers, is kind of trying to protect me from quote unquote the truth. But when you live with someone, you can sense when something's off. And so I think a lot of parents, they want, I understand, we want to shield our children. We don't want to tell them too much. But I also felt very lied to growing up, where I knew that something was going on and I wasn't really told the truth. And then when I became an adult, I discovered that truth.
Oh.
And that was really hard because then I had to decide, are my parents liars? it took me a while, right, for myself to become a mom to go, oh, they were just protecting me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think about all the adult children out there that are products of divorce and have seen their parents try to co-parent and whatnot. And I think that there's just a lot of lies and a lot of protection. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
it's finding that balance of I want to be honest with my kids, but I also don't want to be too honest where they know too much because they're only 8 years old or they're 12 years old,
Right.
right? But teenagers are smart. They know what's going on. So I think that it's a huge problem we've seen with couples we've coached that have gone through the co-parenting, they've gone and navigating blended families, that there's extremes. There's too much protection or there's too much honesty.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or brutal honesty.
That's what I mean. The
Yeah.
extremes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
too much.
I'll speak to this because I was directly impacted, and this is taken me 30, 40 years to unpack what happened to me in my childhood, and that was one of the biggest mistakes was no one ever checked in with me. So my mom, I had about these 10 different home lives with my mom as she married and remarried. My third dad had a child from a previous marriage. So now I have a stepsister. Then they got pregnant. So there was a him, his, a hers, and an ours. And no one ever said, my mom never sat me down and said,
Yeah.
like, hey, how are you doing with all these changes? You've had 3 dads now and you're like not even 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only a couple years ago, actually, we were working with another couple that Megan and I, just on our break, kind of processed like, I struggle with myself, checking in with myself and my own emotions
Mm-hmm.
because I was never taught how to do that growing up.
No one ever checked in on him.
No one,
Ever.
no one ever checked in, and drawing the line between that, I recognize like that was kind of one of those unknown mortal wounds from divorce. Was no one ever said, Casey, how are you processing this? How are
Because
you dealing with it?
he didn't sign up for any of that.
Yeah.
That wasn't his decision to have his mom be married 6 times, right? No one and I can imagine the pain and hurt that she was experiencing, but this is your child that didn't make these choices, who had no say in this. Yeah, that's a great one. So
Which-
I think I think co-parents tend to not check in on their kids emotionally
Correct.
as much as they should.
Yeah.
I would agree on that.
100%.
And I think you're 100% correct. And I can relate to both because when my parents got divorced, it was the same thing. Nobody told us what was really going on and nobody checked in on me. And I think you're right. So being even a single parent, I don't even check in with myself until lately when I was forced to check in with myself.
Yes.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I learned something today.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's true. It's a habit that's created hopefully in your childhood. Like, wow, my parents genuinely cared because my mom never got remarried after my dad divorced her. And she's still single to this day. So I was raised by a single mom. And I don't think I've ever really seen my mom check in on herself
Yeah.
or practice self-care until more like now she's in her 70s and she's working on it. But it's really hard to see that pain. And then she's never even checked in on me as an adult. Like, how did you experience it as a child? Like, that was a lot, because my dad had an affair and then he ended up marrying the mistress. And they're still married to this day, by the way. But never has once asked me, my brothers, how we're doing with all of it.
We have
you know?
some wild
some
parent
wild
stories.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Yeah, we do.
You know?
Yeah.
But just to double click on the checking in with yourself, like I've noticed that it's easier for me to just kind of like avoid, especially issues in our relationship that come from this idea of like, it's easier to just avoid all the painful stuff.
Yeah.
Because that was my coping mechanism as a little kid. No one taught me how to like process that. So it was easier just to not deal with it at all, stick it in a closet somewhere and close the door and lock it. That was it.
Mhm.
So not knowing where I'm at emotionally and avoiding was the combo package given to me from my childhood.
Yeah, it makes sense. What's your perspective on rebuilding trust with co-parents when there's betrayal, resentment, and unresolved pain?
Yeah.
When you say co-parents, are you talking about divorced individuals that are parenting on their own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically our parents. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I mean, trust, we would say trust is obviously foundational to any healthy relationship. But if there's been betrayal and a broken trust, the number one way to rebuild that is to be consistent, to be intentional and consistent, and to show up. So if you say that you're going to do drop off at 5, be there at 4:55. If you say that you're going to text, your ex, oh, your child had a fun project at school today, and, send them the picture of the project at school today. I think I will say, though, my parents had a pretty tumultuous divorce and separation. They were overall phenomenal co-parents. I think, they really communicated very well. Was it, I'm sure there was fights that I never saw. I guarantee it. But what I love is that in front of us, the kids, we never saw them disrespect each other or yell at each other or fight when we were around. Again, I'm sure it happened when we weren't around, but I'm very grateful that once they got divorced, they kept things very respectful. So I would say be consistent as a co-parent. You be responsible for you. Again, learning to let go. If your ex isn't going to do that, then they're not going to do that. But if you can stand before yourself and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I did the best I could as a single parent, then that's all you can be responsible for. That's all you have control over. Be consistent.
I can't top that. That's good.
Intentional and consistency. Makes sense. Yes. Awesome. You've worked with thousands of divorced parents. What's one success story that completely changed the way you see co-parenting?
Oh my
A
gosh.
success story.
I have one. Can I go?
Okay.
Okay. Well, I know I just went, but
Okay.
can I go again? Okay.
In the bedroom or
So we had, oh gosh, side tangent. There you go. Okay. So we had this couple where unfortunately, yes, they got divorced, and the wife was so prideful. She didn't want to see that she had a part in the divorce because her husband had an affair. So it was, well, that trumps everything. He's the big bad guy and I'm the victim. Okay. So a couple years later, she reaches out, and through Casey and I coaching them through this, it was like, hey, we all have our mistakes. There's nobody that's perfect, but she just didn't want to see her part. Years later, she was in the dating world, and I don't even know if she got remarried or not, but she said, she reached out to us in an email and she said, hey, listen, I know that you guys were the ones that called me out on some of my behaviors when I was married. I didn't want to hear it, but through just co-parenting and being a single mother and my kids getting older, I've recognized that there are a lot of bad behaviors that I did have when we were married that I did not want to admit. And it's taken me a few years, but now I'm recognizing it. And then she even went back to her ex-husband and she gave him an apology. And she said, I am so sorry that I didn't see it when we were married. And then she apologized to her children. And she said, I am so sorry. I want you guys to know that I've painted your dad as the bad guy. And you know what? He had an affair because a lot of things, I was horrible to him. She was very critical to him, very mean to him. Again, that doesn't justify him having an affair, but the fact that she could own her part, I think that's a massive win. And now that they're better co-parents because he feels like, oh, she finally sees it. She finally gets like, I was hurting too. It wasn't just her hurting. And I think, again, they're co-parenting very well.
That's a good story. I have
that story.
I have another one where I was coaching with these are adult children. Their parents divorced when they were younger, and one of the parents would badmouth the other parent. And they took it was the mom. Mom was badmouthing the dad, and they took their mom's side for a large portion of their childhood. And their dad never badmouthed their mom at all. And it was interesting how the perspective of a divorced child, when we're kids, like we take our parents' word, like if one parent is like bad mouthing the other parent, you're like, yeah, you're the evil one. Yeah, that's right. Okay, dad's the bad guy. And as they grew up, though, there was a shift when they started to realize that my mom badmouths my dad, but my dad is actually the one showing up healthy and not bad-mouthing my mom. And he said there was a dramatic shift when he was going through puberty, and as he started becoming aware of this pattern, they don't have a relationship with their mom anymore because she's become so negative, so hurt, that she's literally incapable of having relationships with other people because she's harbored this hurt for so many years.
How is this a success story?
Well,
Oh,
because
because
of the
they have the
dad.
dad.
The dad played the dad had the long game
Yeah.
plan. He was like, you
Yeah.
know what? I am going to be above the line. I'm not going to stoop to that level.
Yeah.
There were times where, he talked about how his dad really worked through, like, this is not fair.
Hmm.
But in the end,
The truth is always revealed.
that's right. And that is a
Yeah.
principle I carry to this day whenever I deal with divorcing parents or, a couple that's thinking about splitting. I'm like, listen,
Don't
you can
badmouth.
fool your kids before they're 13. You can tell them whatever they want, but the truth will always come out. And when they become adults, that hurt,
Ooh,
that stays with them forever.
that's my story.
That's
Yep.
true.
That's
Yeah.
that's my mom badmouthed my dad my
Oh my
whole
gosh,
life.
right.
And I do not have a relationship with my mom, but I have a very close relationship with my dad. So
Wow.
It's crazy.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. It makes sense on my part.
Is
Many
that
single
what happened to you too?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm
get
sorry.
it. It's there's pain and there's hurts. Like we never want to minimize someone's pain, but again, the kids didn't sign up for any of this. So you can't
Yeah.
put your pain on the kids. That's not fair. You have to go to a therapist. You got to listen to this podcast. You've got to work with a
Mhm.
coach, someone that you can vent to. It should never be your children.
Yeah,
But my
sure.
my heart goes out to you, Priscilla, because that kind of deception, it's hard to unravel.
Yeah.
Our parents are our superheroes growing up, right? They're
Yeah.
everything to us.
Mhm.
They provide, they protect, they nurture, or they don't.
Mhm.
But they're our superheroes. And then when you
See the truth
then when
later
they take
on.
when you're an adult and then you are able to take off their superhero mask and see like they're hurting people, they're
Yeah.
that's hard.
Yeah, it's tough. When it comes to single parenting, a lot of single parents that feel like they're doing it alone. So they get stressed, they get burnt out. What's your advice to someone who feels unsupported by their ex?
Yeah. They shouldn't do it alone. They need to find community. It's our number one tip for someone that's going through a divorce, who is a single parent. They must find community. And local churches are an amazing opportunity for that. There's moms groups. I think that the society in general is way better at this for women than for men. I think we need to step it up and have more men's groups. Like Casey has a men's reset group, just FYI, and there's divorcees in there and there's married guys. But you've got to find some kind of community because you shouldn't do this alone, because you're not to expect your ex to support you and be healthy. We know statistically is very unrealistic. That's a
Mhm.
very uncommon situation. I hate when the media goes, "Oh, we're great co-parents." I'm like, okay, don't say that, because all the 90% of other people out there are like, I would give anything for that to happen, right? So you shouldn't do it alone, and you should have other people safe. Safe is the keyword, emotionally safe. They're not going to judge you. They're going to be secret keepers. They're going to be reliable. You can send a text, you can vent. They're going to listen. They're going to challenge you. They're going to pray for you and support you. So find community.
My recommendation is to get good self-care practices, whether that's spa day for the dudes too. Okay. This isn't just women only. This is guys need spa days where they can detox and sit in a sauna and really think through, process, take a break. Like, because being a single parent is so taxing, not only you're carrying like a workload, then you're also doing household chores.
Yeah.
And then you're also doing childcare. It's
Mhm.
everything's on you. In a regular, in a traditional nuclear family, you've got a team that splits these responsibilities, but now it's 100% on you. Laundry, dishes, cooking, maintenance, everything. So you have to be able to make sure that you are pouring back into yourself. And for me personally, I kind of laughed at the idea of a spa day early on in my marriage.
I love this. I love a good spa day, Priscilla.
And then
Yeah.
Megan introduced me. Like, It's literally, we check ourselves in at like as soon as the spa opens up, 9 a.m. in the morning, and we do not leave until that place gets, we get kicked out
Yeah.
because it's so restorative to us. We come back recharged
Yeah.
in such a huge way.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. So if someone was listening right now and they're in a toxic relationship, especially in a co-parenting situation, what's the first step they should take today?
First
First
step.
step.
You wake up and you realize, oh my gosh, I am in a very toxic co-parenting relationship with my ex, right?
We would
Mhm.
always say the number one step is to get curious. Let's identify. It's going to be uncomfortable, but getting curious. Why is it toxic? What's my part? What's their part? When did this break down? What are the real issues? Not just what are the kind of surface level issues. What's going on to the core?
Mhm.
I
Well,
think getting curious is so important because when we work with people, a lot of times we'll be like, well, they're a narcissist. They just throw that out. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
well, maybe, but maybe not. Or they're just a selfish person or they're just a bad communicator. Okay, maybe, but get curious and really start to, like, what we would say is like autopsy the relationship and to figure out like,
yeah.
what are the real issues?
So curiosity is a hot topic for Megan and I when it comes to relationships. I think there's a lack of curiosity in a lot of ways that we show up in life. But when you are curious,
Mhm.
it is an advantage in so many ways. It unlocks so many things because if we are looking at our ex and we're just like, what's wrong with them? Right? We're in a place
Yeah.
of judgment.
Yeah.
We're looking at, why are you like this?
Mm-hmm.
Curiosity starts to unlock perspective taking. Curiosity asks a much better question. It's like, what burden are they carrying right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are the hurts that they have right now? Their curiosity, I think, again, is our on-ramp to empathy, our
Mhm.
ability to take somebody else's perspective starts with curiosity. What's going on in their world and how can I enter in? What kind of pain are they experiencing? Because hurt people,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, I agree. When it comes to healing and personal growth after divorce, most people think that healing comes with time or overnight. But sometimes it's alone that, people don't heal. What actually heals someone after a painful breakup or divorce?
That's a great
I want
question.
to take this one.
Yeah.
Forgiveness.
Yep.
And I feel like our message today is very not a
Sexy.
feel good message because
Yeah.
I think forgiveness is again one of those processes that's absolutely suck.
Mhm.
Well,
letting
it's not
go
fair.
letting go of the pain that somebody else caused you
Yeah.
feels really unfair.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Yeah.
every single one of us has an eye for an eye.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like if you gouge out my eye, I'm going to take your arm. Like, I mean, we actually, eye for an eye was a way to keep things civil. That you couldn't hurt somebody even more than they hurt you. But when you're hurting, like you want to go scorched earth on that person. So when you go through the process of divorce, you have to walk through the steps of forgiveness, which is really changing your thought process. Forgiveness is an act of volition, it's an act of will. There's no
Mhm.
feeling attached to forgiveness at all. We cannot wait to feel our way into a place of letting go of the pain. It's actually a decision that you make today to say, you know what? I'm no longer going to allow the pain of the past
Yep.
to dictate how I show up in the present.
Yeah.
And part of that process, we walk thousands of couples through this process of being able to start with your thoughts. Starts by journaling, starts by writing out like, what are the thoughts that I think about this? How do I process that? Well, you need to write them out. We have to get out of our head and get onto paper. When we start to, I think you had the quote, if you change your life, right? You change
When you
yourself.
change, things change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say if you change your thoughts, you change your life.
Yeah.
When you start to show up with a different mindset, you change your life. And forgiveness starts in our thought process. Because you think about it, That's where all the fantasies lie of like how I'm going to hurt this person. I'm going to
Yeah.
cut their brake lines. I'm going to shove them downstairs, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
we can get very fanciful about the way we want to bring hurt to somebody else. I'm going to say this comment or I'm going to embarrass them. But that right there, those are the thoughts that I believe we do have to take captive. We have to actually capture them and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do this. So
Yeah.
time does not heal.
Time can help, but if you're not
But
doing the work, no.
It doesn't heal. And your mom is a perfect example.
Let me say this. When we coach people who are going through a divorce or have been divorced and they're stuck, there's 4 rules that I don't even like to use the word rules. Maybe that's too harsh. Guidelines that we tell them to do, that we keep them accountable to. And we've noticed that the people who do these 4 things heal the quickest. You ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Number 1 is what Casey said. Choose to forgive your ex. Right?
Mhm.
Number 2, stay single for a year.
Oh, yes.
You just went through something traumatic. Give yourself some time. Like, you do
Yeah.
not need to be hurting other people in the dating world that are out there looking for love.
And divorce is capital T trauma
It's huge trauma,
Yeah.
right?
for
So
everybody involved.
stay single for a year. It kills us. And the chances, by the way, if you don't stay single and you start dating right away, if your chances of you dating someone and getting married, it like spikes that you're going to divorce that person. Like, you really do need to stay single. That's backed by research.
Wait, hold on. How many couples have we coached into their second marriage? They have to see us for an intensive. And we
Yep.
talk about, so tell us, like, you
How long?
divorce your partner.
Yeah. How long were you divorced
was-
for? Oh, a month.
A month.
We're like, what? And they're like, yeah. And then of course, they're like, no, we know we made a mistake.
And they brought all the
Ah.
pain into their second relationship.
And all the kids into that. So
Yeah.
stay.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh.
So number
Yeah.
1 is choose to forgive your ex. Number 2 is to stay single for a year. Number 3 is to go see a counselor or a coach. I've never met anyone who's gone through a divorce that's never been able to just heal on their own. They've needed something, a mentor, a pastor, a coach, a counselor. There's no shame in needing to get help. Okay.
Mhm.
And number 4 is to actually admit your part of the marriage falling apart. And that's kind of the admitting the mistakes. Whether you choose to apologize to your ex or not, I mean, I think kudos to you if you can do that. I think it's going to help with the co-parenting relationship. But there is freedom in saying, you know what? Even the mistake of I missed the red flags when we were dating. Or I let my spouse walk all over me for too long. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't follow through with consequence. Ooh, I gave the silent treatment. Whatever it was that you did, there's no way you did it perfectly.
Mhm.
Admitting your mistakes is actually part of the healing process. So if you do those 4 things, we've noticed you will heal quicker from divorce.
Good points, babe.
Yeah, those are amazing. I think for me, my healing started early because not realizing until you said it, the forgiveness. So when I walked out of the divorce court, I was smiling. I felt free.
Mm.
And the police at the court door, he was like, "What's going on? I've never seen somebody so happy walk out of this courtroom." And I'm like, because life is too short.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't want to, it's too heavy to bring,
Yeah.
so much with you.
It
And,
is.
and then I saw it too in my parents. So I didn't want to bring that heaviness. So I'm like, I forgive you and I forget you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
you got to experience that peace and that freedom.
Yeah, amazing. What role does self-forgiveness play in healing, and how does someone start that process?
Did you say self-regulation?
Self-forgiveness.
Oh, self-forgiveness. Oh, forgive
Yeah.
yourself. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, really, it's a similar process of
Yeah, it is.
seeing yourself through the eyes of compassion and going, I'm imperfect and I made mistakes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to let myself off the hook for the mistakes that I've made.
Megan, what was the stat on how many divorcees live with regret?
It's 67%.
67% of people that go through a divorce live with regret. And when I think about what regret is, that's an inner scripting of I didn't do it right.
Mhm.
I didn't do it well. I did this. I should have
I
done
should
this.
have. A lot
A
of
lot of
should
should-haves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think about that kind of scripting.
Mhm.
You know, how many people are walking through life with that kind of level of regret?
Mhm.
And that's a heavy load to carry,
Yeah.
because the reality is we all make mistakes, right?
Mhm.
We are human. We are prone to error, some more than others. That's me raising my hand.
I'm so glad you did that because I would agree.
But, you know, the the self-forgiveness. I mean, that is punishing yourself
No.
for the mistakes that you've made. Now, again, divorce is a heavy one to carry. But
Mhm.
if if that's what you've gone through, I mean, before you go through it, I mean, my hope is you would stop and say, what can I do to make sure I do everything to save this marriage?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And not to give up too early. Of course, we're Marriage 365, so we're pro marriage, but we've also had to walk many spouses through,
Yeah.
when they've been emotionally abandoned
Yeah.
by another partner, when there's actually like an abuse of neglect,
Mhm.
emotionally, physically, they don't talk and stuff like that. And there's points where you have to say, you know what, this isn't a marriage anymore,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But walking that partner through the process of I've done everything I possibly can
Mm.
helps
Mhm.
to like alleviate
Yeah.
that kind of burden walking through
Mhm.
divorce, and on the other side going, yes, I did everything I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. When it comes to love, relationship, and trusting again, after experience a breakup or a divorce, many people say, I'll never fall in love again. Love doesn't exist, or I can't trust anyone. How do you help people overcome that mindset of love doesn't exist,
Yeah.
or a good
I mean,
man or a good woman doesn't exist?
yeah, I mean, typically people say that because there's pain and there's hurt and they're guarding their hearts. And that makes sense. And that's part of the divorce process. We tell people that's normal to think that. So you're not wrong for thinking that. I would say, um, if you are open and you are ready to love again, it will come find you. And it sounds cheesy, but it really will. It's people who are obviously stay guarded,
Mhm.
won't experience that again. And listen, there are some people who shouldn't be married. I'm just going
Yeah.
to throw it out there. I know several people. I'm like, you
My
probably,
mom.
yep, you probably shouldn't have chosen to get married. That's okay. It's not for everybody. What I
Mhm.
don't want you to do is I don't want you to do the comparison game because this is why second marriages have such a higher rate of divorce than first marriages is they think I married the wrong person.
Mhm.
And then they go and date someone else and then they get married to spouse number 2 and guess what? It's not a 50% divorce rate anymore. It's a 62% divorce rate. Why is that? It's not because they married the wrong person in the beginning. That's the thing. Typically in marriages, it was they didn't have the tools, they didn't have the right mindset. Again, they didn't know how to repair, right? All these other things. They believed in the myths that so many people have, like love is enough, like we did.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you want to make a better marriage, make a better you. If you want to be a better friend, make a better you. If you want to
Yeah.
be a better parent, be a better you.
Mhm.
You only have responsibility of how you show up. So we've seen second marriages thrive. The only time that happens though, this is very important. They followed those 4 rules. They've forgiven their ex. They stayed single. They've admitted their mistakes. They've gone to therapy. They've really processed that trauma. So then, when it's time and they do meet someone, whether they're planning it or not, that they're not carrying in that nasty trauma baggage into that next relationship. You don't want to do that, please. And do
Yeah.
premarital counseling if you do.
Yeah, but as you were talking, Priscilla, I wanted to throw this out there because I do think one of the biggest myths that we have about love is we don't walk into relationships with intentionality. Now,
Mm.
intentionality gives us purpose and direction,
Mm-hmm.
and it's incredible. It's actually crazy to think like we work with entrepreneurial individuals who have grown these massive businesses. They walk through their in their career, they are thinking about, how can I solve a problem in the marketplace? And they show up with this intentionality of building a business plan and having culture and team culture and sales, and there's all this purpose behind building a successful business. And then they walk through the front door of their home and it's pure chaos. There's
Yeah.
no plan. There's no purpose. We just kind of winging it. And we just
Yeah.
rely on hope. We hope that things work out. There's no plan at all. And then we wonder why our marriages and why our families falling apart.
Yeah.
Because we
Mhm.
have this myth out there that's just, again, love is enough, or, we don't need we don't need help. We don't need to stop and ask for directions. We don't need to learn and grow. I mean, life is one long lesson.
Yeah.
And we should show up to life as students to learn. Like every single day, there's a lesson that here for me to learn. But
Yeah. So
when we
true.
stop, oh, I don't need to learn how to communicate or deal with my
I'm
pain
not the problem. She's the problem. I mean,
or
we've all
how
Yeah.
do
done
I
that.
become emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
I just so many couples just they crash out on that.
Can I also
I
say,
can use a teenager term.
can I also say, because we're all parents, right? Listening to this is that it's like when you get a brand new baby and you know nothing about what you're doing, right? And there's
Mhm.
no manual and you're trying your best. And then they enter in the toddler phase and you still don't know what you're doing and you have to learn about parenting or potty training and walking and what all those. Well, now we're like in the teenager phase. This is a whole new process, right? Like
Yeah.
we're having to relearn how to parent two teenagers, one that's almost an adult. And then soon we're going to be empty nesters and we're going to have to learn how to parent our adult children. And what is that relationship going to look like? Just take the parent, mom, and dad relationship. It's always evolving. Our kids
Yeah.
are not the same kids as they were when they were 2 years old,
Mhm.
right? And so, and thank God they shouldn't because they're teenagers. But I think that that alone is kind of what Casey's saying about marriage is we have to, life is this long journey of learning. It's the same with parenting. It's the same with
Yeah.
relationships, any
Yeah.
relationships.
Well,
Yeah.
nothing great happens by accident. You don't accidentally become a great parent.
No.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
intentionality behind it. I guess that's what I'm trying to think of. Like when someone thinks about growing a business or being successful in any area of their life, be a great artist, be a great guitar player. It doesn't happen by accident.
No.
It happens by being able to find those resources, get the mentor, get the training, learn from other
Be
people.
consistent and
Yeah.
intentional about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a learning curve, life itself. What's the single most important trait that predicts whether someone is ready for a healthy relationship? And what's also like a green flag that says, yeah, this is the one and it's going to be a long-term relationship?
Okay, I got the red flag. Okay, the red flag is this. Okay. If your person you're dating or you're interested in does not want to go to coaching or counseling or doesn't want to listen to a podcast like this, they don't want to learn. They're not a learner of self. Like if they
Mhm.
don't have that self growth, red flag, run for the hills, break up now. Because
Mhm.
and we have hundreds of friends that are marriage and family therapists. We ask the same question to them. We're like, what's the like red flag? And they're like, the person who doesn't want to get help. Because if they don't want to get help for their childhood baggage, or they don't want to get help for their kid that they're not connecting with, or they don't want to get help for their finances because they're spending too much money, what makes you think they're going to get help for the marriage when the marriage is hurting? That's a red flag. Because we can always work with someone who's willing and wanting to be there, who's like, I want to learn how to be a good spouse. Oh my gosh, I want to learn how to be a good partner. Those people thrive in their relationships. So that's the red flag. If they don't have that, don't do it. Run for the hills and tell your children not to date. Like our daughter's dating. And I'm like, and she's first boyfriend, sure enough, anti-therapy, anti dealing with problems, processing stuff. And she was like, it's so boring because he's not willing to grow and learn and change. I'm like, there you
Yeah.
go. She ended up breaking up with him. I'm like, good for you. But our kids know all the green and red
Good for
flags.
you.
Our kids.
I mean,
By
that
the way,
is
side note, for our children, because our standard is probably above because when our daughter or our son tell people what their mom and dad do, they're like, whoa. In the dating world, they're like, oh, so because I'm a partial side dating coach, by the way. So we do Marriage
Mhm.
365, but I do some dating coaches on the side. And so the pressure I was thinking about our kids and like finding a partner, poor things. I feel bad for them.
their standards are going to be high.
Their standards are very high, which is good, but
Yeah.
maybe they're too high. I don't know. We'll have to find out.
That is a red flag. That's like my number one red flag too. I would add behind that is, it's maybe not a red flag, maybe more of a mindset. Love is not the most important thing in relationships.
Mhm.
Trust
Yeah.
is.
Mm.
And you have to be able to look at some of the qualities of trust: being accountable, being responsible, being a confidant, Like
Mhm.
these are qualities of someone you can trust.
Yeah.
So love is a fickle thing. It comes and goes.
Yeah.
When
Mhm.
we talk about people, every celebrity out there, we fell out of love. Oh, like did you fall out of a tree? Like what is this thing that you fell out of? How do you fall back into it? Well, see, trust is actually the road that teaches us who we can love
Mm-hmm.
and who is safe enough to love. So I think we need to reframe a lot of our relationship talk out of love and into trust.
That's a great one. Can I add something too for a green flag?
You topper.
Okay. So when we do premarital counseling and coaching, just so you know, one of the big things that we focus on is values. Every single person has core values. You have about 5, okay? And these values are things that are going to shift your life. You're making decisions based off of your values.
Yep.
So if a green flag would be with someone that has a similar value to you. They don't need to have all 5. Casey and I do not have all 5. Everyone always asks us, do you guys have the same exact values? No. But there are 2 values that let me tell you that we both share in common, and they have been the solid rock in our marriage. Number 1 is we both value fun. Fun. We love fun. Even when our marriage was hurting, we could still actually have fun together, like as friends. Like I still hated him, but we could still have fun. And we still, as a family, have so much fun. Like that's not a problem. Like we're never bored with each other, but we both value fun. We have friends that are fun. Like we went on a double date last week and we went axe throwing. We'd never done that before. Like we're both like, let's try it, Would we do it again? Sure, maybe, but it was kind of like bowling. You could go every once in a while. Okay, so we value fun. The other thing we value is faith. We both believe in God. That's both very personal and strong for us. So we've raised our children in the church. We pray together. We go to church on Sundays. We read our Bibles together in the morning, right? So whatever your values are. And by the way, there's not right values or wrong values, but a green flag is when you say, oh, I really value, let's say, travel. I really value creativity. I really value family. You want to find someone that shares at least one, ideally a couple, values with you. That will make your marriage amazing. That's part of the dating coach in me. That's the key. That's the secret that everyone's looking for. It's find the values. Attraction, sex, money, love, all that stuff comes and goes. It just does.
Yeah.
But if you have the same values, you will be fine. You will make it through life.
Amazing. I should say, when I get married again, you guys will be my
There you
my
go.
marriage
We're on
coach.
it.
We'll do the premarital with you.
Yeah.
What's the best and worst relationship advice you've ever received?
We've received a lot of bad advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad advice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Best and worst.
Yeah.
well, I go back to the best
is
advice. If you want to
make it better, if you want to make it better, wait, let's see if we can do it together.
If you want to make a better marriage, make a better you.
It is the world's best
Yes, it is.
advice for
100%.
anybody. I think we both would mutually agree that it's changed everything in us. I would say the worst advice that I've ever received is that.
Well, I want to say, time heals all wounds.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good. That's a good bad one.
That's a good bad one.
Oh, that's so not true.
I've heard that before, and people would say, "Time heals all wounds." It's like, no, it doesn't. You have to actively forgive someone. It does not heal the wounds, because we just talked about that.
I was going to say another one that I feel like I hear a lot is you need to find your soulmate.
Ooh.
And I actually have learned there is no such thing as soulmates. I do not believe in them at all. I think that there are plenty of people who are would be incredible spouses and, and great partners. And again, they share probably same values as you. I think another bad piece of advice is like, if you fight, there's something wrong with you. That's horrible advice, because that's not accurate. If you fight, there must be something wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's good enough. I always wonder when I hear people, they've been married for a very long time and they say, "Oh, we've never fought," and I'm like,
no, they're lying.
Bull honky.
Yeah, I mean, how do you live with someone under the same roof? There's no way you're the same on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
well, that to me, because we've done our marriage retreats where
Oh,
We'll ask people.
we hate it. It triggers us because
You'll be an
Yeah.
old couple. Like you've got this room full of like younger married couples
That are
and then the
hurting.
older couple in the back. We've been married 50 years and we've
never fought. And we're like,
And I'm like,
gag.
I just think about that statement of like how that must make other people feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Even
so
if
then
they're-
what's wrong with us?
Yeah. Let me say to that, because this is great dating advice too. So there's something called low maintenance marriages and there's something called high maintenance marriages. The majority, I'm talking majority, about 85 to 90% of couples have what we call a high maintenance marriage. Let me explain first what a low maintenance marriage is. A low maintenance marriage is usually made up of either one or two very easygoing and passive people. So it is, what's for dinner? I don't care, whatever you want. And they're like, okay. And that's why they don't fight. That's why it's very low maintenance. They're both very open-minded. They both, most usually low maintenance marriages, both spouses came from intact, healthy families too, by the way. And they're both just very passive, easygoing people. So could that couple at the retreat be telling the truth that they never fight? Sure. Again, though, that's about 10% of relationships are low maintenance. Most people are like Casey and I.
We're on the opposite extreme.
The opposite. We're both stubborn,
very passionate,
opinionated,
interrupt each other.
Yeah, arrogant,
competitive,
prideful. What we could keep going, but we've got our own differences, and we've got, I'm type A, he's type B. I'm a saver, he's a spender. I'm on time, he's late for everything. Like there's all these differences we have. So I say that to go, I think it's very important to be aware that most everybody argues. Arguing is not a sign that something's wrong with you. But
in fact, conflict, this was the big aha for me. Conflict is actually very healthy in relationships because it's in conflict that we're working through something, and when we come out on the other side, it's the sign of maturity that we can hold two divergent thoughts at the same time or two viewpoints. Like, I understood where you were coming from and we're still okay.
Yeah.
We can talk about our parenting differences or they're listening to different music or where we want to go and still be okay with each other. It was early on in our relationship, we took conflict very personally. It was like, you think something different than me, you're the enemy, and that's where we would always talk about, you go through communication and you're just talking about something, then you find differences and you're in conflict, and that's totally fine. But then if you don't have the skill sets, the maturity, the emotional intelligence, the curiosity to take somebody else's perspective, you take those differences very personal. Are you trying to finish my thoughts?
Yeah.
And then you move into combat. And that's where a lot of the toxic behaviors of manipulation, of shaming, of,
cussing out each other.
Of belittling each other, of toxic texting, or stacking the deck of just saying, here's the 20 things that I have against you. Happens in combat. So people think that that's conflict. That's not conflict. Conflict is as a healthy dialogue where we have two different viewpoints and we're working through it. But combat, we make it personal. And it's, let's take out the enemy at any cost.
Makes so much sense. It really does. If people take away just one lesson from this podcast, from this conversation, what should it be?
It's Priscilla is amazing.
Aww. I would want anyone listening to, before you point fingers and look outward, I would encourage everyone to look inward and evaluate yourself, because it really, at the end of the day, is the only person that you control, and that you have the power and freedom to heal. And, you can learn to be a better communicator. You can learn how to set boundaries with other people in all relationships. And if you do that, you're going to be an amazing parent, and your kids are going to reap the benefit of you investing in yourself. Look at yourself as an investment and say, I'm going to get curious. What's working with me? What's not working with me? And what needs to change?
Amazing.
I'd say go re-listen to this whole podcast and take all the lessons.
Yeah, there was a lot. It was
there's a lot of good stuff.
It was like drinking from a fire hose. We might
have to listen.
Yeah.
It was a lot of great advice, tools, and just nuggets all over.
And it's not, that's not I don't say that egotistically. These are all the hard lessons that
Yeah.
Megan and I have had to learn
Yeah.
the hard way. And
Yeah.
what we want to do is we want to spread a message like, you don't have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
You can actually use curiosity and intentionality
Mhm.
as these two beautiful things
Mhm.
to build a thriving relationship where your kids punch out at 18 years later this emotionally healthy children that go into low maintenance marriages,
I
right?
know.
That are productive in society. And what we're seeing right now, I would say this is, sorry, I won't get in a soapbox, but the breakdown of the traditional home in America is the number one epidemic that we're experiencing, where we don't have a lot of empathy in our
Mhm.
culture. We don't
True.
have a lot of taking responsibility for oneself and one's actions in our
Yeah.
culture. We have a blame culture. We have everyone talking, but no one's listening.
Mhm.
We
True.
can't have racial, political debates anymore in a healthy environment.
Yeah.
It's just
Yes.
attack both sides.
Sad.
And it's
What
and
is
it's-
that doing to our children and the future
Yeah.
generations? It's
Mhm.
not going to be good.
Yeah.
So where does it stop? It stops with us. It's the only thing we have control over. It doesn't stop with the government, with our neighbor. It's only us. We
And-
have that control of what we model our children.
and we are breaking a generational curse that's probably like what 5 or 6 generations back of divorce.
From both sides of our families. Yep. We're
And-
not going to be the people that do that. You know,
That's right. Our kids are going to be the first fruits of something
of our
new.
families.
Amazing. I'm proud of you guys, though, that you guys worked it through and you're helping people.
Thank you.
We're not quite done. But before, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being a guest on our show. Usually at the end, I do ask 2 fun questions.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh,
we like fun. We like fun.
Do it. Bring it.
Question 1 is, if I was a genie and I gave you one wish to be anywhere in the world, where would that be?
Oh, I know where mine would be, but you go. You go first. Unless if you don't know.
Are you going to say Iceland?
No.
You know?
I was going to say Ireland.
In Ireland?
Ireland.
Okay.
We have a trip that we really want to plan to Ireland and Scotland. I would love to just transport myself right now and plop at a spa in Ireland.
Amazing.
Mine's going to be down south on the beaches
Yeah.
of El Salvador, Nicaragua, surfing waves, having pupusas.
There you go.
And the people of those countries are just amazing people.
Oh, awesome. I wish I could make it happen.
Us too.
The second question is, I've asked you a million questions within the hour. I'm giving you the opportunity to ask me one question.
Ooh, okay. Oh, go. You go.
No. What is your best advice to create a healthy co-parenting situation?
I think my best advice is, number 1, we've said it on this podcast, is to work on yourself, because nobody is perfect. I was a horrible communicator.
Hmm.
And so I've had to work on it. I went from one extreme, not talking, to now I talk too much. So working on yourself, and just before it even gets to the kids, just sit as parents and talk things through.
Yeah.
And, like we mentioned before, some parents or divorce, where they go through the divorce, nobody tells the kids what's going on, and they don't check in on the kids, because they're so into the marriage, right?
Yeah.
So I think, a part of it too is sitting down together as parents, talk, and then talk to the kids as like a
Mhm.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a fun question to ask you.
Oh,
Okay. If you could have anything written on every billboard in the entire world for one day, every billboard, Asia, Africa, America, everywhere, what is the message that you would put on the billboard for everyone to read?
Love one another.
Aw, it's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
All right, love one another. There you go. If I can make it happen, I will. Okay.
Okay.
if you can make it.
I can make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much. It was fun. You guys are so much fun to talk to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys so
Happiness.
much for joining.